Hey y'all, what you're about to see is a traditional voodoo card reading done by my old friend Robi. Robi and I are both guides to New Orleans. You can find links to both of our tours below. And Robi is also a high priest in 3 forms of voodoo, including Louisiana plantation voodoo, which is what you'll see here. We don't get much into the basics of voodoo in this video, but suffice to say, it's a religion from Western Africa. It has priests, and readings are one of the ways those priests do counseling. This is the first of 3 readings that Robi and I did, and they were the last phase of a longer story about why New Orleans is famous for readings and what readings have looked like over the years. The other parts of that story, including our other 2 readings, are going to show up in a playlist and will also be linked in the description of this video as they're released. In this video, we talk about what a reading is for and how they work. I get my first reading of my life, and we finish with a traditional offering, all in one of Robi's favorite spots along the Mississippi. This is beautiful. Is this where you hang out?
Yeah, this is where I come. And then normally I'll be sitting right there watching the barges go back and forth. Yeah. So normally what happens before a reading is that you have to cleanse yourself. Like the priest and the person that's with them will cleanse themselves. And it all depends on the person's religion. So we usually say, I don't know what religion you're part of, but do whatever prayer of purity or whatever work of purity you need to do before you come asking for a reading. So what I have is some Florida water I made inside of a spray bottle. And it's just spray it on your hands. Y'all, this is rubbing alcohol with some herbs in it.
Before I do it, talk to me about this purity idea. What's the mindset?
So before every reading, because the only reason you would go get a reading in the first place is if you have a problem you can't solve.
Yeah.
And if you're coming to your priest all, oh my gosh, no. They're gonna be like, okay, we can't do nothing until you calm your behind down. Then we can find out what's actually going on.
So, and this is a particular thing with voodoo readings, is you come in with a specific problem in mind. You're
Correct.
not telling me about myself.
Right. If you don't have a problem to solve, you don't need a reading. A voodoo priest or a priestess, we're not gonna look at you and say, you need a reading? Would you like? No. First of all, that's gonna take all our energy. Secondly, we gotta deal with people. Thirdly, it's true. Because most priests and priestesses want to be isolated by themselves. We got so much to do by ourselves already. When we deal with people, we got to deal with our own stuff and their ancestors. This lady came on my tour, and I told her that Florida water, we put lavender in it in order to calm kids down sometimes. And I had some Florida water on the tour. She had a rowdy teenager. Without me knowing, she went and picked that bottle up, and as soon as her little girl said,
Oh my God.
and little girl, well, mommy, she started, I said, ma'am, that's not how it works, but okay.
It's not a cat sprayer.
She used it just like she was spraying her cat.
A perfumed cat sprayer. Amazing. The things voodoo can do for you.
Right? It can control your children and make you smell lovely.
When in the traditional flow of things does compensating you normally fall?
That's gonna always depend on the priest or the priestess. Me personally, I wait till after.
Okay.
I always wait till after, because my job as a priest is to serve the community. So my heart says, serve first. Don't worry about payment. That's why I provide free tours. Serve first, change the life first, help the person first. Payment gonna come. A lot of priests and priestesses do it the traditional way, where they'll say, we take payment. They'll never tell you they take money. They say they take payment.
Yeah.
And there is something that we have to say whenever we receive payment. Payment is fair. Now, most times when people hear payment, they immediately bring the priest or the priestess money.
Sure.
So the priest, oh, thank you, payment is fair, right? My best friend Eddie didn't bring toilet paper. He didn't bring me an oil, the little salad dressing pour. All that payment was fair because everybody need toilet paper.
Sure. You've traditionally accepted barter often in the form of blue things?
Yes.
This, that, any of the things we're seeing, were any of these barter?
Some of this stuff actually is kind of barter. So barter and also gifts. Everything that we have to carry for your reading, all the stuff that is given to us, that's what we're using to help the public. This is a community religion. So this was given to me. This was given to me. These cards were given to me. This is all stuff people have given to me saying thanks for helping me through the years that I use that positivity to help other people.
Amazing. I brought something blue, if that's okay.
Yes. Of course you brought something blue. Ah, yes! Oh my goodness, is this from Le Boulangerie?
I made that.
You made this? This is walnut, this is the walnut bread?
No walnuts this time, but blue cheese bread.
Oh, y'all have no idea. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love blue cheese.
I found some Stilton.
This is awesome. Payment is fair. Payment is 100% fair. I hope I can
Awesome.
hold myself up to this with your reading, baby.
We are doing 3 readings
Oh, my
today.
goodness.
I think it's gonna pan out.
You just made my whole day. Thank
Hell
you.
yeah.
Oh, y'all just don't know. Ooh-wee, y'all just don't know.
Does the river weigh into the spiritual significance of the site at all?
There's a story behind that.
Okay.
So we have this spirit by the name of Oshun. Hold on. Shut up, Carlos! Thank you. Really?
Oh my God, it worked.
So there's a story behind the river, divination in the religion of voodoo, and why we have it. So we have this river spirit by the name of Oshun. So the story is the spirit of light. His name is Obatala. One day he decided to go take a bath inside the river. And at that time, none of the other spirits knew how to divine except for him. So he, being the spirit of light, no one can see him naked. So he took his clothes off and put them on the banks of the river. He went out into the water and started to bathe. Oshun, being this tricksy as she is, she had Legba in her ear that day. He's the trickster, by the way. My accent gonna start coming out as we doing this.
Please,
it's gonna come
make
out.
yourself at home.
Legba got into this girl's ear and was like, steal his clothes. Take his clothes. So Oshun decided she wanted to go over there and steal that man clothes. He buck naked out there in the middle of that damn river, trying to take his bath like he's supposed to.
Head above the water.
Yeah, like, where's my clothes? After she got the clothes and she like, I hit him. Teach me divination. He said, you're not gonna learn divination from me. She said, teach me divination, I'll give you your clothes back. He managed to teach her some divination. You know what she did being the youngest child? She ran right on back to the other brothers and sisters and taught them all divination. And did not give him his clothes back until after she finished teaching them divination. So now, most times, if we can, we'll always either have 2 things. A wine glass of water present for our readings, or we're by her sacred rivers and lakes.
Wow.
So we can actually do the readings.
Okay.
But that's the story of how we got divination in voodoo, and also, I think that's an Ifa story as well, our oldest running African tradition.
And to your knowledge, is the reading tradition really similar across
Yes
all
and
of those?
no.
But of course, cards.
So
differently.
cards, the thing about cards though, of course we both know, and I think this is kind of obvious, this is a recent addition
sure.
to voodoo, Ifa, Palo, Santeria, Candomblé, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But traditionally, it was the cowrie shells. It was the cowrie shells, because at one point they were considered to be money in West Africa. And then, of course, eventually the cowrie shell became more of a divination tool versus a currency. When the West Africans were brought over here, some of them did have cowrie shells. Now the introduction of playing cards. Through time, these different tools are now being introduced to voodoo. So now we're in 2026, any voodooism can pick up any divination tool that they feel like they can divine with to do the divination.
Gotcha.
Because one of the morals of voodoo says if your religion cannot keep up with the times of the people and its technology, it's no longer a religion, it's a cult. And so with that, I still do the traditional card readings, but I do add a modern twist to it in order to keep up with the times of the people. Because traditionally, they'll just throw the cards down and say, here's your problem, pay me some money and carry your ass on by, going up the road somewhere.
You've incorporated a little bit of therapy.
I'm gonna say it, I've incorporated empathy and kindness.
It needs to get reinvented on a regular basis.
It needs to be the default.
It has to be rediscovered.
It needs to be the default.
You've told me that of the 3 different readings that we're
Yes.
going to do, the 3 different formats of readings, that they also correspond with different tiers of initiation.
Yes.
Can you recap that for me? What are we doing now?
So we have first level initiates, and even them, first level, in Haiti they say unsi, right? We just say first level in Louisiana voodoo.
And this is people initiated into voodoo, but not into the priesthood.
Right.
Okay.
So they're initiated in voodoo, not into the priesthood, but also unsi can be uninitiated.
Okay.
They're learning. Unsis can learn how to do card readings. They can learn how to do shell readings, but they won't be doing those kind of readings often. If anybody come into an unsi to do a reading, that means a priest or a priest apprentice is not around. Now the next level is priest apprentice. In Haiti, they call that suppoint. High priest like me. If you gotta make it to me, and I gotta set all these altars up, light all these candles, you gotta wear all white. Then I gotta lay you down. We have to do this cleansing over you. There's a whole process to that reading. Then once that's done, we sit you down. Then it's either a water reading or a fire reading or whatever, spiritual reading where I got to sit down, rattle, trying to get this done. That's what they call work when it comes to a reading.
It sounds like work.
Yeah, and it's work. Those are the 3 different levels.
Okay.
You never have to make it all the way up to that last level unless it's important.
Oof, man.
This ties into why I tell people all the time with this, why you don't want to be a voodoo priest. And I tell people all the time, you don't want to come to this religion. You don't want to do this. Yet they keep flocking here, and then as soon as they get in it and they actually see the real stuff, they're going, wait, so I got to do all of this? Yes, you have to do this. You just first level.
Y'all,
imagine being a priest.
This is the thing I know from living with a voodoo priest for some years. It is work. You don't get to sleep very much. What kind of questions do people bring to this type of reading?
Wow, so that's good. This is really good because sometimes y'all don't be needing a reading and then y'all come to us thinking you do.
You want one.
You want one. But whenever you have a problem, let's say that, perfect example, especially right now what's going on in the world. You lost your job. You've exhausted all your resources. You ain't got no money left. Mom and dad don't want to help you. Your family don't want to help you. And you exhausted. You have nobody to turn to. You don't know what to do. Then you go find your priest. Then you go find your priestess and say, look, I've done everything I can. I'm tired. And I'm going to say, girl, you need a reading. Come on. Let's go find a private space so don't nobody hear your business as they walking around because that's your private business. Let's go get you some food so you can have some energy. This is why we leave offerings around the trees. The offerings, the fruits, they're there to serve the community. Let's go to the sacred tree. Let's grab an apple that someone left. Remember, your religion got to keep up with the times of the people. I just take people to the doggone hookah place that I used to freaking to all the time and just go ahead and just get a hookah and just buy them some food and call it a day. Then you conduct the reading. And most times, you may not even have to throw a card down because by that point, that person has told you already what's going on, that you didn't have to do the reading. And as a priest, you fulfill the reading by hearing them out and giving them advice. Only when you feel like, nah, we ain't come to that solution, then you say, well, let me break out my cards.
Yeah. With that in mind, I mean, bearing in mind, I am not a member of your religion.
That's correct.
You and we've lived together for ages. I've been around it a long time. I'm very curious. I ask you a lot of questions.
Yes.
You're very kind. You share with me a lot of what's going on. And, I've had the kindness of being given
honorary
pieces
priest
of it. My God, I mean, so touching. I'm still not a member of the religion. Right. So when you are doing this for me, how is this different, or is it different from what you would do for a member who is initiated? This
actually can kill 2 birds with 1 stone because people are going to be asking this in the comments. And I've been getting this on my tours. So people want to know, is this specifically for Black people only? Can anyone just come into this? Here's the answer. You as a white person can come to me. Even though we grew up together, there are certain things I cannot share with you because you don't carry the lineage of it. Versus a Black person coming to sit here, it's going to be completely different. There are things that I need to tell them that because they are Black, they grew up in some of this without realizing it. There really are certain things in this religion that I just cannot say unless you fit the description of either being a Black person or from the religion. I just can't say out loud and tell you. I can talk around it. This is something that voodoo priests and priestesses do in their videos. I do it on Instagram all the time. I'm speaking in code. So the people who are listening going, oh, he's being very respectful to us right now by saying this, but also keeping the stuff the world not supposed to know back.
Because it's important to your community that you protect that privacy.
The privacy of the community, the sacredness of the secrets of the voodoo is important. They should never be revealed because once they get revealed, they get sold to the public and end up in the French Quarter being sold as a product.
It's interesting. I've never thought to ask this before, but I understand voodoo being an ancestral religion.
Yes.
Every person whose personal religious space I've seen has an ancestor altar.
Yes.
How much of it is culture and how much of it is ancestry per se? I mean, the hypothetical is like a Black person who gets adopted and doesn't grow up in the culture but has the ancestry. Where do those things split?
Simple. If you have a Black person who grew up in a different culture that's outside of Black culture, it is up to that priest to determine their heart. I've met a lot of Black people who have come to me and said, I want to learn voodoo. And immediately they, without realizing it, they disrespect the tradition. I've had Christian people come to me. I'm interested in this side. I know I don't want my family to know about this, but I find that I might be called to this. As soon as they come in it, they bring their version of their Christian beliefs to the tradition, which is fine. But once their version of those Christian beliefs come into the voodoo and starts hurting people in the culture, we don't tolerate that. Because remember, voodoo, or moral of voodoo says, any religion that requires you to leave your home and convince total strangers that who they are in the world, your way is right, they do not convert to your side, they're eternally damned, is no longer a religion, it's a cult that leads to colonization. So when we see that, no matter what color they are coming into the tradition, especially if they're black though, we have to protect everyone that's behind
there,
us.
yeah.
Yeah. So in reality, the skin color thing is a secondary thing.
Sure.
It's your character that's first.
And then we have the ancestry part, which like, tell me if I'm thinking of this wrong. If you were to initiate someone like me,
yes,
it would be about me paying respect to my own ancestors as well.
That's correct.
Is that idea present when you do a reading for someone who's not part of the religion? How does that work?
Once they leave, we serving their ancestors, saying thank you for allowing your daughter, your son, or your child to come to me so I can use my spirits to answer their problem.
I'm laughing because we talked about our ancestors on the way here.
We did.
So I did not even realize we had started the reading already.
We did.
Amazing.
And we didn't do it on purpose, y'all. We're like technically best friends. We talk about our problems to each other.
That's where I am so fascinated to do this. I think we've done this for each other in a way, but I've never done this with you or with anybody. So I'm super curious. How is it different from what we normally do?
Right, and it's basically not different from what we normally do. The only difference is that people are not friends with us when they come to me.
Sure.
So when they come to me, I don't know these people.
Yeah.
And this is when I always pass it to my son, Terrell, because sometimes, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, I'm just not in the mood. And my son can just pick that thing up and just throw that thing down and just get it done. Me, I've been doing this so doggone long, I'm tired. Mo fatigué, mo besoin reposer.
This is why kindness and empathy keep falling out of the technology, because they take a lot of time.
It takes a lot of time.
They take a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Optimization, not good for kindness. Efficiency, not good for kindness.
Yeah, and I did that in my 20s and my 30s. Yeah, we good. It's time to pass the baton.
All right, cool. How do we start this thing?
Traditionally, what we do is, depending on the reading, you either have a wine glass of water to represent the spirit of the rivers, or you have something to represent your met tet, your head spirit. In my case, it's Yemaya. I can have a glass of salt water right there, but why? With Oshun being the spirit of divination, we're by the river, we need no water. So the next thing I would do is ask you a question.
Okay.
And that question would be, what's the problem?
Right. So, okay, I think you talked before about jobs, and like I had an opportunity of sorts that appeared outside of town, and that was also like outside of my field. Like I've been trying to make it work as a creative professional of various kinds for a long time, and it was a real struggle to think, do I move to a different place, go away from community, do this other thing that isn't really my thing, just in order to solve the money problem?
Do you feel like if you had more income, that it would fulfill the emptiness that you think you're feeling when it comes to that?
I think I feel guilty a lot of the time about how much of my life I am not able to give to people I care about. And there's a part of me that thinks if I just had like a steady, pretty substantial income, that I would have more room in my life to give to people. And I only take that so seriously, but I can never totally dismiss it. You know?
Yes. Okay. Alrighty, so the way this works is you have past, present, future, past, present, future, or past, present, future, past, present, future. I, as the voodoo priest, will now determine which order this is in, depending on what you just told me. But I do have another question. If you were giving the money right now, let's say you were giving $20,000 right now, what would be the first thing you would do that would make you feel good about being able to provide space to more people in your life that you love?
Hire an editor.
Okay, so here's the problem. The editor is not going to solve the problem because you're going to end up just putting yourself into another thing that's going to have you busy already and putting yourself back in the same position. It's not the fact that you don't have the time. It's because you're prioritizing those things first, not because you don't have the time. Now, once you start budgeting your money and looking at the time you have, and once you start looking at the time your friends and family who you want to spend time with, once you start budgeting all of that, you'll come to a solution where you possibly may not even have to get another job in order for you to provide that space and time. Because right now you're at a crossroads trying to figure out how you can actually love the people around you a whole lot more while doing your art at the exact same time while being financially stable. Problem is you telling yourself that you can't have all three at the same time. The question I would ask would be coming from self-love. Who told you that? Why did you believe them? And what's the source?
I think it's just from banging my head against it long enough.
Sooner or later, that head gonna crack, and you gonna play your ass for the fool. And the reason why you're gonna play your ass for the fool is because you're banging your head up against the wall over something you can solve by giving yourself something simple. More time. Perfect example. You're doing it now. You're spending time doing art, spending time with someone you love while doing a project. It's the truth.
Sure, no, it's totally true.
So the solution
totally
would
true.
be to find another answer besides the one you think you need to run to.
Tell me about the cards. Tell me about what about these cards led us there.
So whenever a joker pops up, baby, you already know they about to say something that's going to be self-deprecating. Wait for it, because you already know they're going to say something about themselves that is not true. That is the opposite of who they actually are, and they're going to believe it. So you wait for that joker to present itself. Even though you're through it, they're going to say it. And for me, it's just never failed.
Yeah.
It has never failed. Every time I see that joker, they're going to say something about themselves that's unkind. And I'm going to have to remind them of how beautiful and kind they actually are. And that's my favorite thing. When I see a joker, I get to brag about the kindness of the person I'm talking to. Let me explain the suits for you.
Yes, please.
So you can get a better understanding of how this kind of works, because we got to say each tradition will do this differently. But I want to explain the voodoo version.
Yeah.
Specifically Louisiana plantation voodoo version of these cards.
Please.
The joker, which was obvious. The joker, and it depends on if it's big joker or a small joker. Because if I pulled that big joker out of there, I wouldn't have said anything about self-deprecation. That would have told the voodoo priest, this goes deeper than that. There's something, and then I had to start reading your mannerisms, dude, and see if you were actually telling me the truth or if you were leaving something important out.
Gotcha.
That you didn't tell me. Then you have your hearts. Your hearts are your love, and that's love in all forms. And a lot of people think that, so king must be the highest form of love, ace must be the highest form of love, and then whatever. No. 9, the number 9. The number 9 in all suits is the highest form of whatever that suit is, not the royalty and not the ace. It's the number 9. So the 9 of hearts is your most powerful love card. You have the 7 of hearts. That 7 represents all days of the week, love every single day. So to give you some nuances of the numbers, and I'm not going to reveal everything, don't worry. I'm not going to reveal everything. If you know, you know. And then you have your diamonds. Your diamonds are literally, I like to say diamonds are mental health, but diamonds are basically your individuality. Diamonds of me reminding you that the same egg and sperm won't come together ever again to give me you. You're that diamond. Then you have your spades. The spades, which the movie, y'all, I have to talk about Carmen Jones with Dorothy Dandridge.
Okay.
The spades made it into the movie. So if you watch the movie Carmen Jones, they're doing the traditional card reading, and they're actually doing it almost plantation style. She pulled the 9 of spades when it was time for her reading. And she froze. She went the 9 of spades. And it meant that death is coming. Now, of course, the movie fantasized the death. The 9 of spades just means the death of something.
Yeah.
It could be a car breaking down. It could be you leaving a job into a better job. That's the death of the old version of yourself into the new.
And it's your job as the priest to figure out, okay, what kind of ending are we talking about?
Exactly. You have your clubs. That's your money and your prosperity and your abundance. But that doesn't necessarily mean positive, neutral, or negative either, because these clubs can mean you're about to lose it, you're about to gain it, or it's just sitting. Here's an example. You had the 4 of clubs. That's the crossroads, right? That fits. You're at a crossroads right now trying to figure out where to go, what to do, where to turn. So it would be my job to recognize he's at a crossroads and give him the right advice to let him know, no matter what road you take, you got love and family behind you.
So the suits have significance, the numbers have significance, and it's the overlap of those two things that makes each card significant.
With the overlap of the situation, with the overlap
sure.
of the experience with the priest,
and what
with
you're
that
seeing
person.
from the person.
It all adds up to the reading.
All right, offering portion of the programs.
So today we'll be offering gratitude to Papa Legba, Atibon specifically. That's one of those, if you know, you know. I'm leaving him his candy to represent the past, the present, and the future. He is my father. He's also the head of the societe. So I will be taking the plastic off this candy, and then I'm gonna leave it under the tree here because we can leave things at a crossroads or a portal. There's a portal, a crossroads, a door, because that's what a portal is, right there. An entrance to go downhill to where the Ifa and voodoo communities serve spirit, right here. So this tree and that tree is right there on either side, perfect to leave his offerings. I'm gonna leave him his candy, the yellow one, to sweeten him up with Oshun, the river spirit. Then I'm gonna leave something chocolatey. He is famous for loving chocolate. Snicker bars are one of his favorites. So I'm gonna leave the chocolate candy, the brown one, there. Then I have a random one just for me. Just to represent me. I don't eat a lot of candy like I used to when I was growing up as a kid. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of like tired of candy. I don't even like that kind of sweetness no more, but I used to eat a lot of it. So I grabbed the one that had the most candy in it, right here, just to represent that. And also red is one of the colors of Haiti, so I want to represent that too. Also red is another color for Legba. And so red is just one of those colors like you can just cover a lot of bases with. So I'll leave that here. Of course, we take our trash. I don't have to do anything special. I don't have to say a specific prayer. Everything was done already. All the other stuff that if I have to do it will be done in private, at home, in silence, and in solitude.
And with that, our first reading is complete. Next, we go down through the very opening Robi mentioned to the edge of the water to conduct an older, more intuitive kind of reading done with shells. Look for a link to that video in the description, where you can also find ways to arrange a reading of your own with a member of Robi's Societe, his voodoo family. Thanks for watching. We'll see y'all down by the riverside.